Hey, welcome back to the shop. Today we're gonna get this door installed. I'm working on the door for the basement, and I'll zoom out here in a second, and let's see if I can. I think I'm all the way out here. I'm pretty much all the way out. Well, you can see the bottom here of the door. The door is sitting in my workbench. It's sitting on a support peg. It's just got a camera here. Let's see if we can make that visible. Come down just a hair. There we go. See, the top of my head's now still in the frame. Oh, look. Okay, that's good. All right. So this is a mortise and tenon door setup. This is it's just a hollow square, and what I'm putting in it is this thing. This is a piece of storm window glass that was from a storm door I had on the back of my kitchen door, and I saved the glass out of it. So it's going to go in here. It's 22 by 66 on the inside, and this is all fit into the basement door. These tenons are 4.5 by 4 1/4, and that's a real pain because the tenon, I have a heavy duty tenoning jig, but you only go 3.5 deep. So I can cut, if I was making any shorter, kind of any shorter than this, I can make a tenon, 3.5 tall. It's just as big as my table saw blade is. But then I had to finish, part of that by hand, and so I ended up cutting these on the most of the tenons on the bandsaw, and that meant some cleanup and stuff. The mortises for those go through this board. Let me take this one. This one I had cracked. This upper piece here. Put this down so you can see it. So the mortise here runs all the way through. And through mortise is, quite honestly, not really necessary. It's a little bit of a flex, just to kind of say that I can do it. And I have a hollow chisel mortiser, but again, it only run about 3.5 inches. So I had to finish the 1 inch of this, about this much of that through mortise. I had to finish by hand, and that was after I had already cut the 45s off of here. So you can see the rabbet that's in here is for the glass, and then there's a 45 where those pieces go together. That's this 45 that's right here. And this piece actually goes back on here like this. If I set it on the other end, and set it on this end. Actually, that separated that piece of wood back out, so I need to, I had glued the end of this and it wasn't dry. So I'm going to have to, now I have to take it off and do it again. I don't like hammering on this thin edge. This is southern yellow pine, and I don't want to damage this corner, so I got just a block here that I can. Obviously, I've done this a lot. I still got something in here I need to fix, and I've been taking this thing apart and putting it back together for weeks. The other thing you can see, I'm going to zoom the camera in and show you this really nice shelf that I made. And I've been learning kind of how I want to use this shop, and so I've made a couple of things here. I think I showed this before. This is a really nice place for my number 5 planes, and it's all made out of just a couple of pieces of oak. It's all just finished in oil, like the workbench is. I want it to look like it's been here a while. A couple little extra planes sitting on top. I now have a pair of spoke shaves. I thought I didn't own one, and so I bought one, and it turns out I already had one, so I now have 2. it's nice that I can set them a little bit different. And I just bought a shop brush from local woodcraft store, and the one just opened in Timonium near me, and it came with a really hard shellac finish on it, and I decided I wanted that to be an oil finish, and I rounded over some of the corners. So I'm going to finish that up a little bit. So the upper shelf here, I'm really happy with this. I got a couple things that are just sitting on it, like a little block plane, but I made some specific places for gauges. This is just a hole drilled in there. This is a nice place to grab my really nice gauge. And I have several combination squares, and see there's little slots on the end, so I can put those little squares in there. And this is just a piece of poplar. But I hand planed it because why not, right? So the edge is nice and smooth, and the corner's knocked off with the block plane, and the face is all smoothed out. So it's a real nice little shelf. So the next thing's going to be I gotta finish this door and get this door installed in the basement downstairs, and then I have a whole list of projects. But that's the key thing. Next thing I need to get done in here for the shop. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to film in here. At night, this is fine because I don't have a black behind me, but during the day, that's really bright, and we'll have to see how this looks. I do have 3 of the 4 LED lights installed. One directly above me is the newer one that I got in. I may not have filmed it. I may not have filmed in here since the last time I didn't have that. The last time I did film in here, I didn't have that light up yet. So that got rid of a lot of the shadows back in this end of the building that I know I've talked about before. So I'm still loving my my antique workbench here. We're thinking that this might even be colonial era. This might be back into the mid to late 1700s, just because of the construction. It's just all pegged together. It's this, like I said, this giant piece of oak. It's quite lovely. I'm loving being able to use it, and for something like this, where I've got it in the end vise and then sitting on that pin, that works really well. All right, I got that door mounted on the door jamb down here, all ready to take down and install into the basement. All right, door's just sitting here. There's another 2x that goes on that goes under here, but even with this just sitting here, if I take this jamb and push it up against that. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's fantastic. Come back this way a little bit. Yep, it's balanced, it's level, it fits in the door jamb. Yeah, that's good. So one of the key things to hanging a door is making sure that the hinges are absolutely vertical so that your door doesn't swing, because it'll fall on the gravity gradient, whatever, if your hinges are too far out. If your hinges are too far this way, the door will swing open. If your hinges are too far that way, the door will swing closed. But this one stays where you leave it. Nice solid ball bearing hinges, stainless steel. It's going to be great. So this door jamb has a slight twist in it, and I had to take off some material down here on the outside face, and I need to bring that up just a little bit further. You can see you see daylight, and then you don't see daylight, and then you see daylight again. So right in that area, I need to bring that down another, 1/8 of an inch to kind of match. I mean, the gap up top's pretty good, and the gap all the way at the bottom's pretty good. I need a little more up in the middle. Like I said, this has a twist in it, so it's easier to modify this 2x8. The door is nice and straight at this point, so I just want file to fit on that jam. Feels a little sacrilegious using power tools over here on my nice antique bench, but too bad. Trick I learned from Rob Cosman: if you have a long thing like this and you pivot it, that's where the high spot is, right where it pivots. So there's a little bit of a high spot here, but I'm good everywhere else. If I move it down there, then the high spot's kind of here, so it's kind of on the end of where I was working. But that's a great trick for that. And there's a little bit of high spot right here. And if I move it down here, this high spot's a little bit right here. So I'm going to work that just a little bit more. Alright, let's check it again. Yeah, that's better. It doesn't now there's a little bit of a pivot spot right here. But I think that was outside the range I was really worried about. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Take it back downstairs and try it again. Well, unsurprisingly, the closer I get, the more I'm going to have to take off, because now it fits really tight all the way down. So, one more round. But if you look out here, when I first started that, it would only come right to the outside face, and now we're almost all the way in. It's going to go in that far, and it's not quite there yet, but the one thing is the door angles, of course, as it swings on the hinges, and so normally a door would be back beveled a little bit here, and I just don't want to mod that door, because it's already got finish on it and everything, and I just don't want to do that again. Alright, after one more round of sanding and fitting, I actually need to take off about a 1/16 of an inch from pretty much here down, this whole length down here, and so that's going to take me forever with a belt sander. So I have an extremely sharp hand plane, so I'm going to do with a little bit of the hand plane, try and take off a lot of it, not chip, hopefully, not chip out that not too bad, and then we'll clean it up with a belt sander. See how that goes. So I had actually used this scrub plane before when I had to take off material down on that end, and this worked really, really good to take off material pretty quickly. This was handmade by somebody who's only identified on here as Old Grandpa Carlton. So there's a link to the video up here on this hand plane I bought. I bought from the tool store that was associated with Roy Underhill's shop. So let's give this a run. Yeah, it's going to chip out that. That knot, but we'll put some more. We'll refill it with super glue. This thing works great. All right. That's a lot of material all at
And then this one's set, this is probably set too shallow. Let's see here. Bite. I'm kind of putting a bevel on this face intentionally because the door only closes to like here. So I'm not really worried about making it all the way across. In fact, there's going to be right at about this point, there's going to be, some half-inch or something molding to be a doorstep. Here over this knot, I'm basically pushing the blade at a skew angle like that. So I'm trying to just shave as little as possible off of here in order to try and keep it from chipping out. This is a wonderful old Union number 5. I don't really need to take off very much down here. This has got, like I said, it's got a slight twist in it. And so when I put the screws back in, there's a screw hole here and a screw hole here. When I put those back in, that'll pull this face back away from the door. That'll be fine. This is probably pretty close to what I need. Because this is the outside edge of the door, I'm gonna fix this chip out. A little super glue and accelerator. And some sawdust. Because the only thing that I've been running this sander on is this same wood, that's all the sawdust that's in here. So I'm going to take some of the sawdust out of here and pack it in there. Sitting a little proud of that. You guys can see that? Not quite. Zip this back up before I make a heck of a mess. So I'm going to pack sawdust in here that came from this wood, so it's all kind of the same color for the most part. And then I'm going to flood this with thin super glue. This stuff will go everywhere and it will wick into everything, but that's in fact exactly what I want it to do this time. If you put on a lot at once, you will get an exothermic reaction. See that steam? Go a little bit slow. We got pretty good ventilation here in the shop, but even so, that's a lot. Okay, that's too much. Close up the glue. Get this accelerator. All right. That's good and hard here. Let's do that same trick here a little bit. One trick I forgot to do that time is squeeze the bottle slightly before you tip it over, and then when it tips over you can pull air into it and keep the glue from coming out kind of all at once, and then you can put one drop out when you need to. That's my trick. All right. You can see the glue crystals. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. So that goes pretty quick. Try not to stick my fingers together. That thin super glue will get everywhere. All right. Get a little bit on them. All right, let's hit this with a belt sander real quick. That looks better than the gap in there. So this is all glue, and it looks like wood. Comes up pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna hit this whole thing, belt sander, just to even the surface out. You can also kind of feel if there's any bumps or whatever, unevenness, you can kind of feel that in the sander a little bit as it kind of rides up and down things, so you try and make it smoother. Looks pretty darn good. Normally I don't like belt sanded finishes, but that's what I'm gonna get on this. It's industrial, pressure treated. Don't really care that much. All right, let's take this downstairs and try it again. All right, without this piece screwed in, it kind of barely touches. All right, so let's screw it in and see how it looks. So I had to get this shot of this beautiful fall color with the sun just going down. I'm standing in the basement, in the wall of the basement, and here it is with the door jamb all the way screwed in. Oh yeah, babe, that's what we're talking about. No touchy. That's a very nice indeed. It's a perfect gap, pretty much all the way down. It's great. Door swings open, doesn't move. And let's back up the steps a little bit wider shot. I'm shooting with my phone, so it's kind of what I get. So there it is, sitting open. That extension cord I've been using for the sump pump, so I'm gonna have to close that door up. I'm gonna have to run some power some other way. I haven't gotten power in here yet. So the door sits right there, which means that it's nice and level. It sits halfway. Very nice. Sits all the way closed without touching. Also very nice. I'm gonna have to put a stop up here to keep the door from going too far toward the wall here. But yeah, let's walk all the way up the top. There's what the door looks like. That has been weeks in the making. I'm super happy with that. All right, next in, the glass goes in there, and furring strips put in place, and I need to make some molding go around the outside, and it needs a lock set right there. But for the moment, that'll do. Thanks for following along.